This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of WPSL. WPSL does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WPSL. Now it's time for Coffee at the Cabana, presented by the Cabana at Jensen Dunes. And now, here's your host.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning. Welcome to our third week here on the show.
Welcome back.
We are Coffee at the Cabanas with Joe and Jennifer, presented by Jensen Dunes, the Cabana at Jensen Dunes.
And where are we located, Joe?
We are located on the dunes in Jensen Beach, but 1537 Northeast Cedar Street, Jensen Beach, Florida, 34957. And our phone number, if you'd like to get a hold of us at the Cabanas, is 772-332-1000. And our phone number here today while we're on the show is 772-340-1590. If you have any questions with us, give us a call. We do have trivia again today.
Oh.
And I think I have to set a rule for our trivia.
Ooh.
If you've already won, give it another month before you can win again. So, Cullen, thanks for coming with your wife for the prize.
Yeah, that was so nice to meet them.
Very nice.
Nice people.
Yes, and they got to walk around, talk to the residents.
Residents loved it. She had a bunch of jokes, and that was great.
Some we can say and some we can't.
Yeah,
Right?
but she sat with our residents for a little while, and she talked and she told some funny jokes, and just nice couple.
It was great.
Right.
So we had a busy week this week.
We did. Our St. Patty's Day party was a huge success on Friday. A lot of new faces came through. The food was amazing. Chef Kevin did a great job. His staff were amazing. So it went really well.
We had a good time. We also got a couple of admissions this week, so it's made my job busy.
Yeah, you were busy.
So we had a busy time. And actually, those admissions were in our memory care unit.
Oh, nice.
So I think this week on the show, I think I'd like to talk about it, memory care, a little bit.
Sounds good.
Our memory care unit is a secured unit. It's upstairs. It's called Treasure Cove.
Mm-hmm.
And it's designed for people that need a higher level of care, people that try to escape, as we so much say. And I know you're up there with your activity girls.
Yes, we've got a great staff up in memory care. They're just so compassionate and, care about the folks that we support. They go above and beyond, during the day with what they need to do for our folks. So we try to keep them as busy as we can. Not everybody wants to do something upstairs, and that's fine. Some people like to go sit outside on our patio, which is a beautiful little escape. The plants alone outside really make it inviting, and we have sails that cover the sun and a lot of outdoor seating, so it's just a nice place for everything, inside and out.
It's designed, as I tell people when they come in for tours, as a condensed assisted living. It's smaller in nature by design, because of the type of people that we're taking care of up there. They don't need vast areas or vast room sizes. The memory care kind of hits home a little bit for me. It's kind of, as the person that's helping these people, it kind of, it's nice in a way that we can help them. It's kind of sad sometimes too.
It is.
The way that they come in, it's usually a spouse or a son or a daughter, and they're upset. That if it's the son or daughter, what happens a lot is they're down here visiting and they haven't seen their mom or dad for a while, and they go to the house and then they realize that mom or dad's been hiding things from them with those phone calls. Oh yeah, everything's okay. Well, it's not. So they come in, and sometimes they bring the potential resident with them, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the person. This week we had the gentleman, one of them, was at another facility that didn't have memory care, and he needed it because he kept wandering outside. Actually, he kept driving. So that was a little
Was he sure of where he was going? That's the question. Or
yes and no.
Was he? Yeah. Okay. Had a destination he couldn't maybe get to
That's
anymore.
it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And that's what the unit is designed. And you hear those stories of those poor people that wander off into the woods and they don't find them till it's too late.
I know that some people think that they need to go to work.
Right.
They forget that they're no longer working, or they haven't worked in a long time.
Right. And we have a few people that still think they get up and go to work. So we try to make it for them.
Like they get up and go.
Right. They can come down and have their coffee.
Make it feel
and
like
have
they're going to work.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Or the new thing that Jennifer started up there was the baby.
Oh, and we have a baby now. His name is Tony, and it's just so nice to see. We have a few ladies that will go over and they'll hold Tony and they'll rock him, and it just takes them back to a time in their life that they remember. So it's priceless. The pictures that we've been taking lately are just they make you stop and think for a second, like, wow,
Yep. If you can see their faces as they're holding the baby, you can tell they're thinking of when their kids were little.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
their
Now
babies.
this is not an actual baby. Right?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not a real baby.
I need details. I always
But it
need
looks
details.
it looks like a real baby.
Okay.
I have a bassinet, and he's wrapped, in nice baby clothes and a nice soft blanket, and he smells like a nice little baby. And some of them just like to rock him, and they talk to him, and it just takes them back to a time in their life that made them feel so good. And it's just nice to see that that it's still in them to have that compassion and that love, and we get to be part of that with them, and it's nice to see.
You have to remember that these residents are still people, even though they have an illness that they can't help. But they are still people and they have feelings.
Right.
And that's the way the unit is designed. We're kind of unique in the community that we have one. There are other assisted living facilities that have memory care units. Ours is probably the newest. So we're able to do more of the state-of-the-art stuff with it. It is probably the largest also in the community. Usually there's, as far as room size or rooms go.
It is a big community, and they can actually walk. There's like it's like a big circle, and for those that like to walk, we have a few people that's what they like to do is they eat and they walk and they walk.
Yeah.
And it's good for them because they can just keep going.
And we don't have to worry about them as to where they're going to go because they have to stay on the unit. It's secured. Even the courtyard's secured. They walk out there. Sometimes when I go up there, even when I'm doing a tour, we find some of them sleeping on the couch in the courtyard.
The other day I came off the elevator and I could hear somebody was playing the piano, and I waited outside the door because it was music that I've never heard coming from there before, and it was just somebody was playing the piano. And when I came in, and it was one of our residents, and she was sitting there and she was just playing and playing, and then she had a couple other residents that come because they could hear it from their room. So it was just, when this woman sits down in front of this piano, it all comes back to her that music was such a big part of her life, and she has no music, no sheet music. She just plays everything by memory. And when she is playing, she's in her own element. She just is right back to when she used to play at home, and it's so nice to see that having that there can give that joy to her.
And the way the day is designed up there is like a daycare setting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, an adult daycare. Yeah, they've got something planned from 10 o'clock all the way till dinner time. And a lot of people engage in activities. Some don't, and that's okay. Some just happen to stand by and watch. Others participate. We've got nice lounge chairs that recline that they can sit in if that's what they want to do. Some like to just nap on and off during the day, and that's fine. We don't force anybody to do anything. No. It's all when they're comfortable, they come around. There's people that love puzzles, and this one lady, as soon as she gets up,
every morning
she sits down and
she's busy.
Where's my
Yeah.
puzzle? And she gets going, and then we glue them, and then we try to frame them so we can display that all that hard work. Because puzzles, I don't have patience for puzzles. I have a lot of patience, but puzzles is not my thing. And some people can sit there and just get them done quick.
And there's all different kind of people, professionals. We have lawyers. We have teachers. We have a horse trainer. There's just all different kinds.
Personalities.
The disease is not hits everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
not
matter who
prejudice
or
to
what you
anything.
are, and yeah. It's kind of sad in a way, but luckily we're there to help them.
That's right.
And we're part of their family now because we're with them every day, all day. So we know their likes, their dislikes.
I think the hardest is on the relatives.
Yeah.
It's on them, the spouses or the children, because especially the spouses, they've been taking care of the person for a long time, and they feel they can still do it. And by the time that person comes to us, the person with the illness is okay, but the spouse is actually sick because they get sick from taking care of the people. So we're very careful with that too. We involve the families in everything that we do up there. The spouses are invited. They can eat there with them. It has its own dining room, our unit. Some of them do. Some of them come and eat with them. Some of them participate when we do activities. We have a gentleman. He likes our happy hour.
Okay.
Who doesn't like our happy hour?
Oh, that's true. But his family comes, or if we're not bringing them downstairs, they're there at 3:30 to bring them down and sit during our happy hour with them. And then when they're not there, we take them down with us. So it's kind of neat the way it works.
And I have entertainment that comes up to that community as well, so they can enjoy a smaller setting with music, or they can come downstairs and be part of what's going downstairs as well. But like you said, a lot of family members like that part of the day because they see all the interacting that they're doing with everybody else. So it's nice.
If you're out there and you are taking care of somebody with Alzheimer's or dementia, we understand how hard it is. We also do a respite, what we call a respite. Somebody can come and stay with us for a couple weeks and give that caregiver a break. We have people that go on vacation, and then they'll come and stay with us, the resident. Any kind of seminar I ever went to, I'm not an expert on it or anything, but it was geared towards the caregiver more so than the person, because the person with the illness is being taken care of, and that caregiver is the one that usually ends up sick. And
I mean, how do you even go to the doctor if you need to go?
Exactly right.
Go, if
Right.
you have an appointment.
you have to have somebody come in the house and stay with them,
Sure.
or bring them
Or
with
the-
you,
yeah.
and that's not
See how
fun.
that goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what we do. It's nice.
It is nice. And, getting back to activities, I like when I walk in there and I see we've got about 5 tables that are set up, and they're always doing something different. Could be a game or even a task of folding laundry, because I have a few ladies that love to fold towels.
I can bring
And-
mine.
Right. And it just reminds them of, back when they had their household going and, sweeping a
And they're
floor.
probably
or-
good at it.
Oh, and they are
Yeah.
great, and then the 3 of them are talking, and it kind of brings them, closer together too. But activities for memory care is really important because that one-on-one that they're given from the staff, there's a lot of love that the girls and activities, give to our residents, and it's nice to see that they're treated with the same respect as you or I
That's right.
would want.
That's right.
They don't treat them any different. Everybody's loved the same, if not more. So it's nice to see that human touch, that you come around the corner and so-and-so's getting a hug from somebody, or, they're going that extra mile.
And a lot of laughing.
Oh, so
when
much
I go
laughing.
up there sometimes, and the staff are laughing with the residents, and because they'll just blurt out something funny, and they just go
they're,
with it. And
they're always
laughing.
dancing, or they're singing, or it's a lot of life up there, and downstairs as well. But upstairs, they get a little bit more love, and it's just nice to see all the staff.
It takes a special person to be
It
up there
does.
8 hours
Is
a day.
their transition a little harder from where their
Yes.
residents to the memory care?
What I tell people when somebody gets admitted in there is to give it about 14 days, 10 to 14 days for them to get used to us and us to get used to them. Once it's the same as assisted living. Once we learn their routine, we're okay with it. Up there, routine is very important, and then we learn it. Our staff learns it. Jen's girls learn it. The CNAs learn it. The nurses learn it. And then there's no, what's the word? There's no anger with the person, and that's key with
Yes.
with the Alzheimer's or dementia person. And as long as they're not going to get hurt, we're okay with it.
Yeah. Well,
So-
they could be angry about a lot of things because there's missing information in their life.
Right.
Yeah, there's some frustration sometimes.
And there are some people up there that still understand things.
Right.
You might see them on the street and you won't even know that they have the dementia or the Alzheimer's, but they need a higher level of care. They need a secured unit because they might jump in the car and drive, or they might go out the front door and God forbid, get lost in,
Right.
where they are and things like that.
We have a woman that goes to the cane center a couple times a week. Twice a week she goes to the cane center. She hangs out there, and then she comes back.
She actually rides the bus.
Yep, she rides the bus.
Right.
Yeah, so
But at certain times of the day, she needs a little bit more extra care.
and that's where that comes in. So, and that's, again, if you're the caregiver, these are not bad places, and you're not a bad person to put somebody in there. It's just they wait till that last second to admit them into there, and that's okay. I mean, I understand that. I probably would be the same way.
Sure.
What's nice too is they have a nice dining room upstairs, and they still have the same menu choices as downstairs. So it's it's nice. They have a huge, when you walk in, they have the menu on display, so the folks can still read it, and they sit down and they still get served and asked, what would you like, and so that part is still nice too.
And it's not a jail. So if the family member wants to take them out for lunch or dinner, they can come up, take them out, take them downstairs to the assisted living part, use the whole building.
And we go out on the bus. They have outings as well. They go shopping. They go out for lunch. They take mystery bus rides. And sometimes just driving for them is nice, and they love to
mystery
sightsee.
bus ride.
Mystery
See,
bus
I have to know
ride.
more.
And we just get on the bus and we drive. And it's
Okay.
a mystery of where we might end up.
Just going cruising, huh?
That's all,
Yeah.
And our bus has got such large windows that and it's, high up, that they love to just be driving and seeing things that they hadn't seen in a long time, be it the beach or just driving in general. They just love to go for rides. It's really, when they put the music on in the bus and they have their seatbelts on, they're ready to go, and they're all just smiling and where are we going? So it's nice.
Yep. And again, we're not a jail. We do all these things. They're allowed to do it. They're allowed to go to their doctors, anything throughout the day. Their rooms are, they get their own room. It's a little studio room. It has a kitchen area, has their own refrigerator, has its own closet, has its own bathroom, cable TV, and they set them up. Some of them are set up really nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, really nice, and that's the family that sets them up.
There's a shadow box outside the door where the family member can, display things that remind them of what they used to do and what they, like, and a lot of pictures. So each door has that outside their door, and it's nice. Some of the family members have really decorated those, really nice.
So I think we're ready for the trivia question.
Ooh, trivia. I didn't know you had a trivia question today.
Okay.
So
Yep, I do.
Okay.
It stems with St. Patrick's Day. So if you know the answer, except for you, Colin, if you're listening.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You have to wait a little
You
while
have
to
to
win
wait.
again.
Yep. The phone number is 772-340-1590. Based on St. Patrick's Day, who can tell me when the first and where, not when, but where the first St. Patrick's Day parade was in the United States, the New World? I'll give you a hint.
I wouldn't even know.
The first St. Patrick's Day parade in the New World of the United States. Give us a call, 772-340-1590 if you know the answer. I do.
And what will we win?
We will win.
We will win a Cabana bag full of Cabana goodies. It's actually a great little bag. I mean,
Yeah.
I have one.
And lunch for two.
And lunch for two.
Cooked by Chef Kevin.
Yes. Kudos to Kevin. I'm sure that once we are in the building doing this out of your office,
I told them already.
you're going to have him on. Good. Because he really does go above and beyond, and he's working so hard to make sure that he pleases everybody. And it's hard. We've got
is.
107 people, and everybody has a different palate, but he just knocks it out of the park all the time.
Think about trying to make
So
two
he's
kids
more like
happy.
a short order cook than like a cook on a cruise ship or something, where
Short order cook
they
that
make
cooks cruise ship food.
okay.
Right. Yeah, because
good.
and every plate he has is displayed so nice. I mean, just that edible flour, which I didn't know you could eat. I haven't tried one yet. Have you tried one? You can eat those. I didn't know that. They're beautiful. But anyway, all the plates that come out of that kitchen are so nice. I mean, they really take the time and present what they serve, nicely, and everything's good.
He even helps me. Saturday I had the tour that came for breakfast, and he happened to be there by the luck of
Luck of the Irish.
luck of the Irish, and the family and the woman, and he came out and he talked to them about their what she liked and didn't like, and he sat there a good half hour. And I know the guy was busy. I felt bad.
Yeah.
But the woman was asking a lot of questions, and he was good.
He tries. He really does try. We had a woman once that loved to have her chocolate milkshake every day, and he would make sure that she would get it every day. You had somebody that with spinach, and he
Yes.
made sure that
Yeah.
came into
And
play.
he was off that day, and the family was freaking out that the dad needed spinach. So I didn't realize he was off, and I called him on his cell, and it was there the next day. He got it. So this is what we do at the Cabanas as a whole, customer service. I heard a quote this week, I don't know where, but nobody can out-customer service us. This is the things we make everybody happy. When somebody comes in and signs that contract, I tell them, just tell us what you need, and you're basically going to get it. But you have to tell us. We cannot guess. We're not mind readers.
Right. Like we have a man who loves to go swimming. His routine at his home, he was out in that pool, and he's got a routine. He does his laps first, and then he has to walk, and that's 3 times a week. He's got to be out there, and we accommodate that. We
Tell them a story.
what story?
Friday.
Friday. Well, he was outside in the pool, and nobody was out there yet until you went running out, and you sat with him,
did.
because I was doing a party, and I like, oh, Joe, I need somebody to go out there and just to supervise, because it's a huge pool. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, but safety comes first, and we want to make sure that if they're in the pool, there's somebody out there that's CPR and first aid trained. So Joe took time out of his busy day, and he went out there and he sat there and talked to him a little bit, but let him do his thing, and he's used to that,
Yeah,
and we didn't want to take that away from him, so we make sure that 3 times a week he's out there at 2:00 and he's doing his thing.
And he loves it.
Loves it.
Loves it.
And sometimes if I'm in there with him and I'm just standing around, he'll say, come on, Jennifer, you could do this with me. So now I start to walk with him, and he does his thing. But nice guy. Just he's very appreciative that he can still do that. His routine is not changed too much.
Yep.
So
The Cabanas at Jensen Dunes, 1537 Northeast Cedar Street, Jensen Beach, east on Jensen Beach Boulevard, south on Savannah Road, then east on Cedar Street. And we're at the end.
You want to take a quick break for
Sure.
the news? Great. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
FNN News, I'm Deborah Roberts. An Orlando attorney says he'll be filing the first lawsuit relating to the Florida International University pedestrian bridge collapse this morning. Matt Morgan tweeted Sunday that it, quote, is imperative we act quickly to secure critical documentation and data, end quote. 6 people were killed when the newly installed bridge collapsed Thursday afternoon. At least 8 others were injured. Classes have resumed today at FIU. In the meantime, FIU today will take what its president calls the first step in the community's healing process. A moment of silence will be held at 1:47 p.m. Eastern Time as classes resume for the first time since last week's deadly pedestrian bridge collapse during spring break. One of the 6 people killed was 18-year-old freshman Alexa Duran. Tomorrow, a blood drive will be held on campus, and the Student Government Association will hold a vigil Wednesday morning. The Stoneman Douglas High School students that have come together after the deadly shooting appear to be split on one issue regarding the accused shooter. Nicholas Cruz is facing the death penalty for last month's shooting, but one of the 5 students interviewed on 60 Minutes last night wants his life spared. Cameron Caskey says he would rather see Cruz rot forever, while Emma Gonzalez supports the death penalty for Cruz. The 15-minute segment also focused on the recovery of 15-year-old Anthony Borges, who's still in the hospital. Meanwhile, fellow Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School student David Hogg is featured in a new PSA for the March for Our Lives protest.
What if we stood up as Americans and fought for our freedom and our children's lives?
Everybody is saying politicians who are corrupt, politicians who are accepting money from these organizations, you can't run from us. We are the people who voted you in, and we are the people who will vote you out.
Hogg posted the PSA on Twitter Friday. The March for Our Lives protest will take place this Saturday in Washington, D.C. With news on the Florida News Network, I'm Deborah Roberts.
Attention type 2 diabetics. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has warned that Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR and other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes cause an increased role in amputations of the toes, feet, and legs. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-474-6417. That's 800-474-6417. Again, 800-474-6417. Call now. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. www.injuryhelpdesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
We're now starting Poison Prevention Week around the U.S. Morag McKay at Safe Kids Worldwide says that while childhood medicine poisonings are dropping off, there's still a big problem.
Each day, a child's at the ER. Every hour, a child is hospitalized, and every 12 days, a child dies as the result of an accidental medicine poisoning.
McKay says many parents think child-resistant medicine packaging is childproof, but it's not. They also don't realize how fast kids can climb onto counters and reach medicine stored in high places, supposedly out of reach, but not out of sight. A man is dead after a final act of love cost him his life. Tampa police say 80-year-old Felix de la Uz was walking with his wife this weekend on West Hillsborough Ave when a car went off the road and towards them. De la Uz threw himself in front of the car to save his wife, and while she was spared, he was killed. The driver and a passenger fled the scene on foot, and they're still on the loose. I'm Deborah Roberts, FNN News.
You're listening to Coffee at the Cabana on WPSL, presented by the Cabana at Jensen Dunes. Senior living that's different from the rest. Now back to your host.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, welcome back, Joe.
So our trivia question again, I'll go over, is where was the first St. Patrick's Day parade in America or in the New World? I won't ask when because that's going way back.
Yeah, it would have to be one of the old cities.
Yes, the very old city.
Very old city. I've got like one that we'll see if I'm right when you get your winner.
Should I give a hint? Or wait?
Well, let's give the phone number 340-1590.
Is where to call.
Goodies and lunch for two.
Right.
So.
Yep. And another thing we want to tell them about, Jen, is our party this week.
Yes, we have an event going on Wednesday night, and it is called Starry, Starry Night. And what that is we've got out in our patio, a courtyard, Mallory Square. We are going to have entertainment, a dessert bar, and our fire pit will be on. We'll have lights everywhere. And we're just going to have a nice relaxing evening under the stars.
And music by?
Music by the Smooth Sounds of Roger.
Who is?
Who is my father. My father comes to our place and takes time out of his busy schedule and does music. Him and I both sing. So they love to see him because he interacts.
They absolutely love him.
Oh.
They ask for him.
They ask, I know. When's your father come in?
And when you say Mallory Square, I get a vision of juggling cats. Mallory Square, Key West.
That's what it was named
They have
after.
Okay. Yeah.
This is
So
a
you know what I mean when I say someone juggling cats.
See, I've never been to Key West yet. So.
There you
Yeah.
go. We could do that.
Go to Key West?
No, juggles cats.
Are you crazy?
You have to get cooperative kitties.
It's a nice courtyard. This would probably be the second time we get to use our fire pit. And a lot of folks also have lunch. They can have lunch. They can have dinner if they want to have their meal outside in this courtyard. That's where we just had our St. Patty's Day party.
It's nice.
We entertain out there as often as we can. It's really a nice area.
It's right off of our dining room, so if they want to sit out there to eat, they'll get served out there.
A lot of family members come out there and enjoy
eat
that
out there,
area.
and there's little sitting areas. It's a nice area. So we're talking about memory care. We're talking about our parties. Next week we're having another party too.
Yes, we're always having parties. Do we even work?
No.
No, we just have parties. It's fun. Our next week one is our luau, and that's a big to-do because one of our residents, she is from the Fiji Islands, and she is also the woman that was in the movie with Elvis. So she has come to me and has told me not to buy any decorations, that she will supply all of them, from banners to grass skirts to the coconuts, which I don't know if we're going to wear all that, but
I'll wear coconuts.
You're going to wear coconuts?
I'll wear coconuts.
Okay, you heard it. He said it. No, but it's going to be a great time because she's actually been having a dance class every Monday, and she has the residents come and she teaches it, and she's been teaching us 3 certain dances, and at the luau they will come up and they'll do their little dance, and she hasn't told the men yet, but the men are going to do something at the very end. So she says don't say anything until they're all there, and then when they're all there they're going to do it. So she's a big part of it, with also musical instruments that they used on the set with the Elvis movie. She's bringing all that. So I'm thinking that our luau is probably going to be the biggest event that we have, because word of mouth for this is been spreading. So it'll be a good time. Everybody's invited,
Yes.
So check it out on the website.
And if you want to come, you can RSVP 772-332-1000. You can also RSVP through our website, jensendunes.com.
Kevin offered to actually have a pig roast for the luau, but
Yeah.
I said that was going to be too much work. But he did offer. He said we could get a little pig. I said, nah, it'd be too much work.
I don't know about that.
So he has prepared a menu that is going to be great for the luau.
This is your trivia answer?
So we have Russ on the phone. Hi, Russ.
Hi, Russ.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So you know the answer to our trivia question?
I believe it was Boston, Massachusetts.
Nope, incorrect.
That was my guess too, yeah. So
Oh.
I'm wrong too, Russ.
But you know
Okay.
what, Russ? You can still come by and we'll still give you some lunch.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
He said from Boston. That's around my neck of the woods.
Not a little further south. Let's just say that.
Okay, so that's your hint. So we're looking for the first St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yep, in the New World, or the United States, but it wasn't the United States at the time.
Okay. 340-1590.
When did you think of this? Like, were you
I
driving
heard
and
it.
just?
No, I heard
Oh,
it.
you
I have
heard it.
another one I heard too. That's next week's.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's trivia borrowed from somewhere else.
Yes. Well,
That's okay.
I heard it on the news, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Next week's is nature.
Oh,
So,
nature.
yeah, nature
Okay.
that I saw yesterday.
All right.
But again, going on about our facility, we're assisted living, and today we're discussing memory care. If you have any issues or questions for us about assisted living, memory care, anything long-term care that we might be able to help you with, give us a call, 772-340-1590.
It's nice too. Up at Memory Care, there's a nurse always
That's correct.
up there. And that's nice because I know if my loved one is there and, I have any questions, she's right there readily available to answer any questions that you might have with your loved one.
24 hours a day, there's a nurse up
So
there.
that's nice to see.
And there's CNAs up there also.
Right.
24 hours a day to help them at any time. One thing we didn't touch on with our memory care is we are allowed to keep them there till they can get on hospice. They can stay with us on hospice, so there's no moving around with them. They get familiar with our staff. Our staff gets familiar with the resident. Familiarity is a big thing with dementia and Alzheimer's people.
Yeah, they're home.
Right.
Right.
They don't like change.
Yeah, that's why we try to keep, like, activity staff, we try to keep the same people because now they've formed relationships that when they come around that corner and they see,
That's right.
that familiar face, they're like, oh, and it makes them feel so much better that they're at ease and they know that person. So
That's right.
consistency is key.
And their comfort, and the families are comfortable with us. They'll know the nurse. If they need to call in, or if something happens to their loved one, the nurse is calling them. It's nice. It works.
What's nice too at our place is, assisted living downstairs, memory care upstairs. I try to incorporate both worlds, so it's not a stigma. What's the word I'm looking for?
Stigmatism.
Right.
Stigma.
Right. I don't want I don't want them to think that it's upstairs, and so I try to plan activities where our folks either go upstairs or they come downstairs. That way, we're still all one big family when you come to the dunes. I like now that some of our ladies downstairs will go upstairs and they'll interact and do activities. Who knows? Everybody's, you never know where you're going to end up.
That's right.
So it's nice that everybody there is treated equally.
And we even have 2 where the spouse lives in assisted living and their spouse lives in memory care. And that works out really well because then they don't have to worry about going to visit them. The person in assisted living can just go right up into memory care and visit with them. It works out nice. We also have couples. We've had 2 or 3 couples up there,
Yep.
where they'll stay together. Because what I always hear, we've been married for 67 years. I don't want to leave them. So the family, the children, say, well, why don't you move in together and be within them together? And we allow that too, and that works out really well. And it looks like we have another trivia
we're looking
answer.
for the answer to that trivia question. Give us that question one more time, and
Question
then we'll go.
is, where was the first St. Patrick's Day parade in the New World?
And we have
Ted.
Ted?
Yes.
How are you?
Doing?
Good. How are you?
Just fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Okay. You have the answer?
Yeah, I believe it was St. Augustine, Florida.
You got it.
Hey,
There's the winner.
Good job, Ted.
Congratulations.
I think I heard the same newscast you did.
You probably did.
That's what gave it away.
So you're welcome to come by, Ted, and pick up your prize.
Okay.
I'll give you our address. It's 1537 Northeast Cedar Street in Jensen Beach. And do you know where we're located?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So come by and have some lunch on us, too.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And look forward to seeing you.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Very good.
See that? I didn't think anybody was going to get it.
Well, you have to tell them you're going to feed them, and
know.
that's what listeners
Then-
like.
then it opens up.
Have food, they will come.
That's why we always have food at our parties.
It is
right?
good. Oh, I know. The food is good, though. I mean, even the staff can get lunch now, and the food is good. You can't. The bad thing is the desserts. The desserts are so good that a lot of the residents they want to have the dessert first and then have their lunch. And some of them do. Some of them say,
Make sure you have room.
right.
and the neatest thing for me with the food is, again, going back up to memory care, the food goes in these pots, or what would you call those things?
Reduction heaters.
Yeah.
Forget the name of them.
It sits on a hot plate kind of thing that doesn't get hot. It goes into a pot or a bowl
A nice big ceramic
that doesn't get hot
with a cover.
but the food stays hot.
Right.
It's
And they
magic.
serve.
Yeah,
It's
the
magic.
craziest thing.
And they serve it from up there, and
And they do that because it is out in the open, and if somebody were to grab it or touch it, they're not going to get hurt. And they get served by a waiter or a waitress in their own dining room, their own setup. When I first started at the Cabanas and I was doing my first day, I took a tour. Denise took me around, our executive director, and on the dining room tables, it was set up beautiful. It had glass, it had silverware, it had plates, just like a regular dining room. And I asked her, I said, she says, no, nobody has even touched it yet. I was thinking the residents would go by. Well, the first person I admitted up there her first day. Wiped all one table, went and wiped out the whole table. So I jinxed it. So now we don't set up with everything. We just make it look nice up there.
There used to be a woman that lived there that wanted to always help somebody else at another table with cutting her food up or helping her. So
like a mom.
Yeah, and it was so sweet, So it's just, if you walk around up there and you're just observing and just looking, the things that you take in and you walk away, it makes you stop and think like, wow. Like you said, they are people still, and
they have stories, and
they're
great
the
neatest stories from when they worked, and
yeah.
people they've met, and things that they've done, and it's just amazing. And if you take the time to listen to them, it's
great stories.
It is. It really
There's a
is.
woman that used to live in New York, and she lived in a high-rise, and I listened to her stories of how her father was a maintenance man, and she got to meet so many different people because they lived in the basement. And when it would snow, when they would cancel school in the city, and just such interesting stories. They all have great stories.
How about our retired Rockette?
Oh, yes. We have a retired Rockette. So when we do exercise class, she always has to make it known that she can grab her leg and put it straight up.
Still, yeah.
Even
Still
she's
does.
got to be in her 80s, she's up there in age, but yet she'll tell you stories of how she got on a bus with, $20 in her pocket, didn't have a place to live or a job, and when she got off the bus, she ended up getting a job at, as a dancer, and stayed at a friend's house, and then just got a job after that at the as a Rockette. And she would tell us the stories how they would practice from early in the morning till late in the night, and just such interesting stories.
Yeah.
They all have
And
great
they all
stories.
They all
Yep,
do. for
every
what
one
they
of them.
did.
It's amazing. It really is. And music up there is key. We try to have music as often as we can because there's always that one song that just brings something out in somebody that it's just amazing. Somebody might not talk to you all day long, but you start singing or you start playing a song that they remember, and they just come to life, and all of a sudden they're just blooming. They're talking and they're singing, and so music up there is key. We've always got music on the TV. If it's not Frank Sinatra or all those oldies, we have sing-alongs. We've got entertainers that come in. We try to keep music all the time going upstairs because it's what jogs their memory and makes them have those memories from back in the day that, it's great. It's a great feeling.
If you're listening and you're a caregiver out there and you're starting to feel a little stressed and you want to come by and you're looking for a secured unit, Alzheimer's or dementia unit, and an assisted living, just again, as we talked about last week with these tours, just pop in. I highly recommend just popping in on the
right, and I like that too, because when you just pop in, it's not
staged.
Right, because everything that goes up on in there, it's the real deal.
Right.
It's in the now. It's happening in the moment.
That's right.
And that's what you want to see when you're putting a loved one somewhere, because like you said, you don't want to see fakeness. You don't want to say, oh, they knew we were coming. This is what they were doing.
And you might even see how they handled a resident that's not having a good day.
Right.
You might even see that. You might see how the CNA is handling that, or the nurse. But if you were to schedule it, then they're going to say, run up there and say, well, I got somebody coming at 2 o'clock. Make sure everybody's doing this and that, which we don't do.
Make
but
sure everyone's napping.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
Right.
you,
That
if
would
you
be
pop
terrible,
in
wouldn't it?
and you open that door and it's, voila, I'm here.
Right.
Let's see
It's
what's
happening.
going on.
it's the real world up
Right.
there. It's always
And
it's just it's
different
going
all the time.
Right.
because
Every
of-
day's
of
different.
The residents.
Right.
So that's what I would recommend. And last week we talked about the 5 senses, especially important in a memory care unit. Very important. Level of care up there is higher, so it's a little different. And there's times when you're gonna see something or hear something, and you'll see how they're gonna handle that.
Yep.
And but the thing is, don't get stressed. There are people out there to help you. There's tons of organizations for Alzheimer's people. We do the Alzheimer's walk every year, so we're familiar with that. You can email me, jdcarlo@jensendunes.com. If you want to keep it private, if you need help with any kind of organizations, I can give you a list of names to help people out there. I don't mind at all. That's what I do. Been doing it a while. We had fun at the Alzheimer's walk.
We did.
Jennifer
That was a great one.
Dressed up in purple.
Yeah, all purple. That was a fun walk.
Yeah. We kind of cheated, but we did okay.
Shh, don't tell anybody we cheated. Well, we kind of hid behind a little tree, and then when we saw our team coming, we kind of like took we took a shortcut.
You joined them.
And they're like, "Ooh, how'd you get there so fast?" I'm like, "We were walking." But no, we have a lot of fun at the dunes, and we try to incorporate family members as well. So it's nice when we have parties or even small events. It's nice that family wants to be part of it. So it's a good family atmosphere when you go there, and that's what I liked. Everybody is family oriented and they care genuinely about their loved ones. So it's nice that we can be part of that every day.
You're not alone. You're not alone. I mean, there's tons of people out there, no matter where you go. And that Alzheimer's unit where I worked before, I found that the families with the dementia and Alzheimer residents, they became like a group, almost like a support group for each other, and it was nice. And I think we have that up there a little bit too going on.
Yeah, we have some families that talk to one another now and have made friendships.
Yeah, and it helps. So again, if you're at home and you feel like you're alone, you're not. Call me. There's tons of resources. As we get closer to the Alzheimer's Walk, we do fundraisers. But our fundraisers are fun, and again, it's all designed around food for some reason.
Hey,
and
we all got to eat. It works.
Yeah, and we had a good time doing that. And we also we do a breakfast for a church group once a month, and they made donations last year, so that was nice too. Yeah, to us for the Alzheimer's. So it works. Just you have to know where to go and who to ask, and the right way to go.
And we're the right way to go.
We are.
We are.
We are. We enjoy it.
How many people now are living in the community upstairs?
We have 33.
33.
Yeah.
And we could have
53.
53. So we're growing.
We're getting there.
We're growing.
We're getting there. That's why I said it's probably the largest one on the Treasure Coast. It is big, but it's designed that way. And we have the staff up there to take care of the people.
We also have their own beauty salon upstairs. And it's a nice little beauty salon because she does both upstairs and downstairs. So when they want their hair done on Monday or Thursday, they go into this room and it looks like a beauty salon with the hair dryers and the nice chairs and the mirrors. So that's nice too because it makes them feel
their own physician exam room.
Right.
Their own laundry
room. Because some of them still like to do their own laundry. So they, have the option to do that as well.
It's basically a self-contained assisted living. And that way it's by design. Keep it going that way. Keep them up there to where they're not getting agitated. They can do whatever. Walk around, do their thing. We have a lady that checks every door up there.
Every door.
Every door.
She makes sure everything's secure. That patio area, though, was really nice. Their courtyard.
Are you sure she's checking to make sure that everything's secure, or is she looking for a way to take a little walk?
Yes.
It could be that, too. Could be that, too.
And we've had to change the code. How many times?
A lot.
Because somebody's figured out the code.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I had gone someplace once where their door was painted like a bookshelf, and it was amazing.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea. I just saw that recently. And I was like, wow, that is so cool because they didn't gravitate to the door because it looked like a bookshelf.
Yeah.
So that's something that, I thought that was really neat. But upstairs, it's a nice place upstairs. There's a lot of love that goes on up there, and you feel that when you walk in. You don't feel like, oh God, what am I doing? You just feel it. It's in the air. It's a nice place.
And that's at the Cabana at Jensen Dunes, 1537 Northeast Cedar Street, Jensen Beach, 34957.
And don't forget, come check out our event on Wednesday, Starry Starry Night. That's going to be a fun time. It won't be as crazy as our St. Patty's Day party. We had a lot going on that day too. So this one's kind of a little bit more set back where you can just sit back, enjoy and have some sweet snacks and be under the stars, enjoy the fire pit.
And next week we're supposed to do this remotely in my office. So it won't be just me and Jen. We're going to try and get some residents in the chat.
Yeah, and
I was just checking the weather for Wednesday night.
Oh,
clear.
Oh, good.
So
well, you
looking
know,
good.
then
hopefully they're right.
I just thought about that though. It gets darker
Not till,
later, but they don't. They would never make it at 8 o'clock.
No.
They're all,
They'd be sick.
they're in bed by 7:30 sometimes. So I'm like, oh gosh, I hope it gets dark for a little bit of that time.
It will.
But yeah,
Maybe
we'll
a
make the
little
best of
cloudy
it.
and we'll-
Doesn't matter. Any party we have is still they rant and rave how good it is. So they just love when we all get together. So looking forward to that.
Yep.
Hope everybody comes and
And enjoys, as always.
Right.
Um,
You also said that you're going to have some guest speakers on as well,
I
going
have
down
some
the
plan.
road.
I'm trying to get people signed up. I have one definite in May.
Hopefully, you'll have somebody on for Alzheimer awareness.
Yes, we're
Good.
trying. We're
That'd be
trying to do
nice.
that. People are trying to plan us into their schedule. So as soon as I get definites,
Good.
we'll run it by. Maybe by next week I should have some
I know
definites.
there's a couple of residents that are looking forward to
I know.
being in your office and
I
on the
know.
Well,
spotlight.
you've got celebrities in house, so
Yes.
you know
Yes,
you've got
I know.
the Elvis lady
Well, she-
and your
The
Rockette.
The Rockette, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to touch base with all of that.
Yes.
What about the man that made the car?
Yes,
Also, too,
Yeah.
we've got some people in there that have done some amazing things in their lives.
we do.
You
yeah.
know,
We'll line them up.
Yeah, you do like a feature,
That's it, yeah.
a little feature segment during the show.
yeah, great idea.
But first we'll have to have the chef,
Yes, first Kevin.
since we're talking about him the most.
We're
we'll
always
get
talking
him.
about him. Food's important,
And he's been warned, so...
and he's always trying to feed us. Like I don't know about you, but he's always trying to feed me. Every time I go in there, hey, you got to try this. You got to try this. But at St. Patty's Day, he made that bread. What was that called?
Was it soda beer bread or soda
Whatever
beer or
kind of bread that
something?
was, it was so good.
It was really
oh
good.
my gosh, it was like a real sweet. He toasted it somehow on both sides.
I think we're the tasters.
I think so.
If we survive, then he serves it. If we don't survive, he says forget it. So far, we've survived.
Right.
So we'll see.
All right. Well,
But again,
I'm looking forward to all of them.
Now, if you have like a resident that maybe had a stroke, has a hard time swallowing, any difficulties like that, is their diet challenging?
It's either what they call a mechanical soft, which is a little bit of an upgrade from puree, and we
so
can do
all
that.
of those
He accommodates.
Wow. So
Yeah.
not
Right.
only their taste, but if they have an issue that
Yep.
Yep.
There's some people that can't just drink regular liquids. So Kevin has, with the help of the dietitian and the nurse, they all get together and they create, that special diet that somebody might need.
And there's actually a what they call a thickened liquid.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually pour something into their drink, and it makes it thicker for them and easier to swallow.
right.
They do it in any liquid.
Mm-hmm.
I knew somebody that missed his coffee because they couldn't have the coffee; it was too
Right.
thin.
Couldn't-
So they were putting this thickened liquid in it, and he said it was okay. I don't know. I didn't taste it, but things like that. Anything can be.
You
and-
probably get used to the texture.
Yeah, and this day and age, it's like almost anything can be overcome. It's amazing what they have out there for anything.
And we do. We try to accommodate every personality that comes through the door. So we welcome anybody to come, and we look forward to meeting, new
Come
people.
by for a tour. You can call. You can just stop in, whichever you prefer.
Give us the number at the Cabana, and we are just about out of time.
My number 772-332-1000. The Cabana at Jensen Dunes, and next week we'll be doing it from my office, the Fish
Looking
Bowl.
forward to that.
Yeah, fancy technology.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Very good.
We'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.